Steve Lumpkin, and this will benefit Dean Ron Booker. Tickets are $5 for 5 tickets or $10 for 12 tickets. You can come up here and get the tickets put in this red bucket here. All right, your lanes are coming on for 10 minutes of practice. Good luck, everybody. All right, guys, before you get started, one final announcement. We have a former champion bull in this squad. This is the first squad this year that we've had this, and from 2018 on lanes 11 and 12, Chris Barnes is more with us.
And with that, we're going to get started here this morning. Welcome into Inside Bowling's coverage of the 2026 New Mexico Open C Squad qualifying 6 games for you here this morning. We have 16 bowlers on this squad. We started with an A squad yesterday with 14 bowlers, 29 bowlers on B squad yesterday, 16 today. Brings us to 59 entries. We'll have a D squad for you coming up at 1 o'clock here, Mountain Time Zone. We are here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico at Tenpins More Bowling Center. This is the 22nd edition of the New Mexico Open. And we're certainly glad to have you with us for our coverage here today. We'll have squads again tomorrow. E and F squads will take place tomorrow at 8 and 11 again as well. Bring in our picture-in-picture, bring in some other players on the bottom right of your screen. We'll get to those players here in just a little bit. We get started with Dantes Young, Eddie Joe Torres, Gabe Alvarez, Raymond Archuleta, Luke Salazar, local players, and of course, one half of the Beef and Barnsey show, PBA champion, and our friend here at Inside Bowling, Stu Williams, is going to be on lanes 13 and 14. Chris Barnes is over on lanes 11 and 12. So we do have some star power here, some recognizable names. We also got Wayne Gretzky bowling.
Mike Flanagan loves bowling.
I sure do, Pat. Thank you. So we've got this difficult pattern, and I really don't know where to start here. I think I'm just going to start with the scores. Let's look at the scores from yesterday. How about that Austin Grammer yesterday, bowling with the most consistent block I think I've ever seen, and maybe in live streaming history. A low game of 203 and a high game of 216, and every game over 200. And if you look at the rest of the players here that shoot up yesterday, take a look at these scores. You don't see many 200 games at all, maybe one per bowler. And for Austin to do that all 6 games is quite impressive. So he sits at 1270. That's 70 pins over. Steve Klimkin sits at 1204 because he is over 55 years old. He's 56 years old, and you get 8 pins a handicap if you're 55 and older or if you're a female. So you see a few of those players getting 48 pins of handicap, which is the European style. So a lot of bowlers were encouraged to come out and bowl here with the intent of drawing female players as well as bowlers over 55 and giving them incentive to come out and bowl. Now, in addition to that, if you are a youth bowler, there are $5,000 in guaranteed SMART scholarships at this year's event. Regardless of how you finish, there's going to be $5,000 awarded to youth players. So really cool things they're doing here at Tenpins More. Got to give a shout out to proprietor Mike Flanagan and his entire staff for being so generous and willing to adapt and change some things here. This center does have string pins. They've been installed for just about a year, so you're going to see string pin carry out on the lanes. They put in Brunswick Boost STs last year, and it's been fun to cover this. A little bit different. It's our first ever string pin event here on Inside Bowling. But it's been quite enjoyable, and it makes the show a little bit more interesting. In addition to that, I want to share our oil pattern. The lanes are very, very demanding, very, very difficult, and here is our oil pattern. It is 47 feet in length, and we are using current oil, 35 milliliters of oil out on the lanes. But notice the amount of oil that's applied on the 9th load on the forward distance there. 4 2-2s from 22 to 32 feet. That gets that brush really, really wet, gutter to gutter, and the ball just doesn't want to hook off the end of the pattern because it's oiled to 47 feet. The head pin from the foul line is 60 feet in length, so the ball only has 13 feet to travel from wherever it is to get into the strike pocket. So currently right now, that is our synopsis of our oil pattern. And you can see there that it's very, very slick, very, very demanding. And the scores that we showed just goes to show you just how difficult it is. So whoever's going to win this tournament is really going to earn it. But there is a path to the pocket. You just have to be very precise And you have to do the three things well, which is throw at the same speed every time, rotate at the same time, the same way every time, and also target the same way every time. Take a look at our schedule here. We've got A squad and B squad yesterday, C squad right now, D squad later today, E and F squads tomorrow. And then Sunday, we're probably going to modify this format a little bit. We're probably going to bring back 24. And we're going to have an advancers round 1 and an advancers round 2, and then go right into the step ladders. So our step ladders will probably begin around 1:30. Once I get that confirmed, I'll update our schedule. This was the original schedule, but it looks like that's going to change a little bit. So stay tuned for any changes coming up here on Sunday. Okay. In addition to that, we do have some great sponsors, but since we have this screen up here right now, we'd like to take a minute to promote what we do here at Inside Bowling. We do a deal of the week every single week, and this week it is quarter zips, and they are good until next Wednesday. $37 each on quarter zips. We have all the brands represented. It's really high quality quarter zip from our friends over at Champ Pro. A lot of people have picked these up, and everybody really likes them a lot. I wear mine all the time. If you'd like to take advantage of our deal of the week, you can do so. This week, deal of the week, $37 quarter zips. And, of course, you can always save 15% at InsideBowling.com with coupon code YouTube, and that's off our apparel. We have over 1,000 T-shirts. We've got dry fit T-shirts now, dry fit hoodies, just a plethora of things, hats, and we've got all the major brands represented out there. So check out Inside Bowling. That's how you can support what we do here when we go out on the road, when we stream events and do all the things that we do here in bowling to promote our game. Those of you that have been picking up items, we certainly do appreciate you very much. And if that's not your thing, you can always share our broadcast. You can like the broadcast, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel here. About 111,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And to those of you that have been subscribed, or maybe a new subscriber, we have one message for you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Certainly do appreciate you. And I know I talk a lot up here, but I do nothing but speak the truth.
Flanagan wouldn't lie. Flanagan wouldn't lie.
No, I wouldn't. Now, let's pay the bills. What do you say? Let's let everybody know about these great sponsors that make this tournament possible. We want to thank our friends over at Brunswick. If you're looking for a new bowling ball, bag, shoes, or if you're a proprietor looking to put in lanes or scoring, make sure you check out our friends over at Brunswick. Brunswick has been a leading manufacturer of bowling products for a very long time, and you can find out more information about their products over at brunswickbowling.com. We would also like to thank our friends at Shamrock Foods, providing the food here, local food distributor. And if you own a business and you'd like to have an opportunity to bring in quality food items, make sure you check out Shamrock Foods, proud supporter of the New Mexico Open. Also, visit RioRancho.com. Check out visitRioRancho.com. A lot of great things happening here in Rio Rancho, including a big balloon, the largest balloon festivities in the world takes place here coming up next month. You can find out more about everything going on in Rio Rancho at visitRioRancho.com. I'd also like to thank our friends at Kegel. You can go over to Kegel.net. A lot of information available about education about oil patterns, and Kegel is our official lane maintenance provider here this weekend. Also, the Bowling Center Tenpins More is donating the lineage for this tournament here this weekend. So thank you to the entire staff here, led by General Manager Anthony Albrecht and our Director of Operations, Rob Bellag. They just picked up another center. Rob oversees not only Tenpins and More, but Artesia Lanes. It's about 4 hours away right here in the great state of New Mexico. So there you have it. That's our sponsors here. Much appreciated to everybody out there. And also to those of you that are watching here this morning, thanks for being here. I do have a live scoring link pinned in the chat room, and you can follow along with all of the scores at home, courtesy of our friends at Lane Talk. LaneTalkScoring.com is where you can go and find the scores, but I've got the link down there for you. Let me least I think I do. And yeah, Chris Barnes has started with spare, strike, 9 count. Jacob Gill, who's got like 5 entries into this tournament because he's done so many winner spots. Jacob Gill has got the front 4 over on lanes 11 and 12. We're watching Eddie Joe Torres tear him up here right now. Spare, 4-bagger, and Gabe Alvarez with 6 in a row. Making it look easy out there right now. Make it 7 in a row for Gabe. Boy, am I burying the lead here or what? Got to go over and look at, I'm going to invert the stream for just a moment. Well, I will after Stu throws a shot. I'm going to invert the stream so we can check on some scoring nearby. There's Stu playing right up about 11 or so. Looks really good. Ryan Howard, Charles Bostic, Tyler Lyons, Eugene Martinez, and Andrew Romero. Take a look at their scores here. And then we've also got a single wide over here. We're not using 23 and 24 this squad, but we probably will this afternoon. Nice shot by Scott Wiley over here, using a lot of surface. That's what we have for you for all of our lanes. But we'll settle in here. Gabe Alvarez on the front 7, which looks incredible right now. Eddie Joe Torres with that spare 4-bagger and spare as well. Gabe Alvarez, front 7. Oh! Great shot. Really impressive. Let's take a look at that shot again. Alvarez comes in just a little bit light on the head pin, unable to get the messenger to take out the 10. Still can max at 279. If he could bowl 270 this first game and then just average 200 the rest of the way, he will beat Austin Grammer's consistent 1270 score of yesterday. One player on this squad does get the 8 pins of handicap. Ironically enough, it's Chris Barnes. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, Chris Barnes gets 8 pins of handicap.
Mike Flanagan is a heel announcer.
It's all about getting the right ball in your hand, getting matched up properly, and then once you do, if you can repeat, you can be in pretty good shape here. Talking to Chris Barnes this morning, he's pretty convinced that you need to play around the track area. I've been kind of talking about how you need to play this pattern towards the outside part of the lane. I think that just goes to show that there are multiple ways to attack this pattern. I think my lane talk link in the chat is not correct. Let me fix that for you. Remove that one. And I'm going to remove, there we go. Let's try this again. Live scoring. There's your live scoring link. Make sure that one works properly. Yep, that's correct. So now you guys are good to go. Gabe Alvarez stealing the show. We have not seen this. Oh no, 7-10 in the 10th frame. Wow, that sucks. So 247 for Gabe Alvarez. That's a great start, even though he kind of got punched in the 10th frame with that 7-10. Chris Barnes next door. He was also telling me how soft he's got to keep his ball speed. Barnes gone spare, strike, spare. Double over on 11 and 12. You got Stu striking in the 9th. Eddie Joe Torres with a spare here can still get to 222. Take about 20 minutes a game here this morning. We'll be done with our coverage, I would say just a little after 10, and then back again at 1. Let me know where you're watching from. Always like to know where everybody's tuning in from. See what Stu does here on his fill ball, moving way to the right. I like the play. 206 for Eddie Joe Torres. I think that's going to be better. Yep, I like that look better. So we should have some pretty good action here in game number 2 as every pair moves to the right. Barnes is 2-4-10 over on lanes 11 and 12. And game 1 coming to a conclusion here. Let's see, we have no other action, right? Nope, we do not. We're going to head into game number 2 right here. Trevor, I went for a little rip last night, bud. Thanks for asking. Got Oregon tuning in, a little Alabama, Texas. I'll have to check on that that burrito. I'll definitely check on that. North Dakota, Chicago checking in. Yosemite. If I'm ever vacationing in Yosemite, give you a ring. Okay, I can handle that. That'd be great. Watching from Kentucky, having breakfast, enjoying the bowling. Aren't we all? We got bowling over here. Let's go over here. Catch some bowling. Gabe Alvarez, Raymond Archuleta, Luke Salazar, Ryan Howard, Charles Bostic, and Tyler Lyons. Move over here 17 through 20. I'll move them bottom right of our screen, and we'll go to our featured area here, 13 and 14, 15 and 16. How's it going, man?
Good, how about you?
Good. Give you a little more room. All good. Got Andrew Romero back in the house here today. He started with a double over on 21 and 22. I'll keep an eye on that. Got Barnes getting things started here. Eddie Joe Torres looking to go back-to-back 200 games. Jacob Gill with a nice shot there. Nice soft speed, a lot of surface. Ball actually shaped off the end of the pattern. When I say shape, I mean the ball, you can see it hook off the end of the pattern. With as much oil as we're seeing here, it's difficult to see the bowling ball hook. Barnes moved a little bit to the right. I like that a lot better. Stu gets on the board there. Second strike of the game. One on each lane now. Got Dallas Burke playing away right. Right up it. Looks good too. Starting to see some defined paths to the pocket here. That can go away pretty quickly, but just looking up at the board here, I mean, just seeing strikes today. It's a good sign. Dantes. Trip 4. Hey, Eddie Joe Torres, though. I mean, he started out great last game. Let's see how he does. Here looking for 5 in a row. Oh, tickles the 4 out. Yes, sir. It's got a hook. A little bit too far to the right there. That one also has to hook. Yep, a little too far to the right there as well for Stu. Let's go back and watch this this shot here. Watch the 4-pin, the light mixing 4. Got scores after game number 1. Gabe Alvarez, your leader. Bull 247, Eddie Joe Torres with 206, Jacob Gill with 204. Chris Barnes had 193, gets 8 pins a handicap because he's 55 or older. Scott Wiley is 5th at 188. Bostic with 184, Dallas Burke with 182, followed by Martinez, Stu Williams, Baccaccini, Romero, Howard, Archuleta, Lyon, Salazar, and Young. Stu after the split conversion. It's going to try it again. Nice shot there by Barnes. Here was Stu's 2-4, 8-10 conversion a little while ago. Beautiful. Then leaves it again back to back. All right, Dantes, I see you out there. Dallas Burke, oh, had the 4-9 stand and 9 falls out late. Glad you're with us here this morning. C-Squad qualifying. Scores are a little bit higher here this morning than we saw yesterday, outside of Austin Grammar. Take a look at Chris Barnes, 7-10 again. He was just looking for a double over here. Gets it to read early. It starts to want to pick up there. Just light for that 7-10. Meanwhile, the lead is Eddie Joe Torres. Stu has left that 3 times this game. See if we can pick it for the second time in the game. Doesn't clip the 2. Yes, sir, Eddie. Eddie's just got a trick roll that's just working right now. I mean, this is really impressive what we're seeing here out of Eddie Joe Torres. Eddie Joe Torres stepping up in the 10th frame can bowl 266. Bowled 206 the first game, unable to trip the 4. That's a pretty good shot there from Eddie Joe. Nice shot there from Barnes as well. Oh, Eddie, you can't miss the 4-pin there. Ah. Nonetheless, 235, great start. 2 games over 200. It's about as good as it gets right there. Gabe Alvarez had 247 the first game. Slowed down a little bit here. This game can bowl 177 for Gabe. Ryan Howard can still bowl 180. Tyler Lyons 147. Charles Bostic 180. Luke Salazar 163. And Archuleta can bowl 175. What a weird leave for Barnes. Stu Light again. 2-4-10. Needs a ball that either hooks more or it's going to have to soften the speed. He's consistently leaving 2-pin combinations. And Barnes does not make that. Here's Barnes' first shot again. Take a look at this. See if Stu can make this combination again. 2, 4, 8, 10, 4 times in one game. I'm going to step away for just a moment. I'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes here for game number 3. Enjoy the end of game number 2 here. Back with you. Conclusion of game number 2. Chris Barnes is going to be in the 160s, Stu Williams in the 140s, but Eddie Joe Torres, even though he opened in the 10th, bowls 235. He's well on his way. If he can just hold on here, he'll have a score that's in a great spot. Have some questions here. We had a question about the oil pattern. I do show it on the open, but I know some of you aren't here the whole time with us, so after we see this shot here, I'll bring the oil pattern up again. It's very challenging, to say the least. There it is, 47 feet, 35 mils. Using current oil, and you just notice just how much oil is being applied from gutter to gutter at 22 feet to 32 feet on the way down. And then, that gets dragged out to 47 feet. So that brush is very, very wet. And it's moving at a slow speed, so it's putting a lot of oil down on the lane. It's wide down lane with oil, and that's why you're seeing so many light hits out on the lanes. Game number 3 underway. Scott Wiley, Nico Baccaccini, Chris Barnes, Jacob Gill, Dallas Burke. Bottom right of your screen, we see the group that just left our featured pair here on lanes 15 and 16. Eddie Joe Torres, bottom right of your screen. Let's see if we can keep it going. Barnes starts with a strike over here on this pair. We'll go over to the hot hand and Eddie Joe Torres. Got 6 games for you here this morning. We'll be back at 1 o'clock with our D squad of qualifying. Oh, lean on it. Eddie's got it working today. That man is a bad man right now, and I mean that in the most possible good way. Talked about what a great crew we have here. You know, we got Mike Flanagan, the proprietor here. We've got General Manager Anthony Albrecht. We've got Director of Operations Rob Bellog. We've got our special guests, our Brunswick product specialist, and Rick Barbera, making sure everything's going well. But we've also got our USBC president and our tournament director here, representing Inside Bowling here at this event is Dennis Hacker, and he joins me now in the booth. Dennis, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Well, we are 2 squads in and 2 games in to C squad qualifying. Tell our fans at home a little bit about what's going on in this event from your chair.
Well, it was interesting to watch. I'm sitting there preparing recap sheets for the. Hold on, folks. We just got a question here that I'm having to be involved in. All right, Mike. We've done that a couple of times now, where we've used
Yeah, instant replay.
instant replay to figure out what happened when somebody didn't see what was going on. So, it was interesting. I was preparing recap sheets for the afternoon squad for what we've got right now, and Rick came over and said, "Hey, we got the front six on 15 and 16, and we've never had that so far." And so, looking down there, yes, we did. That young man had 270 going into the 10th and left a blower 710 on the first ball for 240.
Yep.
And then I look up the second game, and Eddie Joe Alvarez has got Eddie Joe Torres had the front five again on that same pair. So I'm thinking, hey, 15-16 is going to give up some score this morning. And Chris Barnes is on the same pair right now, and he's got the front four. So it looks to me like that might be one of the better pairs to bowl on. It looks so far. It was just watching Chris this morning when he was practicing. The first couple of balls right out of his hand. I mean, he had the exact right roll in the right part of the lane, and the ball was going into the pocket. And I look at Rick, and I said, isn't it interesting that some of these guys just see the ball reactions from other people, and they know exactly what ball to pick up and what ball to go out there and use right off the bat. So.
Yeah, or at least they think they do, and then the lanes start to cause them fits, and
yeah, for sure.
Stu Williams has left so many two-pin combinations here, and here he is in Game 3, and he bowls for a living. He loves tough stuff, and today, he just cannot get away from two-pin combinations right now.
This is definitely causing him a little bit of consternation so far. That it doesn't look fun for him right now.
No, not at all. And Eddie Joe Torres, I don't know him all that well, but what I do know is the way he gets out of the ball and gets it out onto the lane, and how his ball is rotating. He's got a very unique rotation. It's working really well.
Yeah.
This morning.
Here he is on 17 and 18.
Yeah, he has struck every time on this right lane. See how it's just a unique roll?
Yep.
Getting it to read quite early.
Yep. The last one was, if I remember right, I saw the hit. The last one was a lighter hit, and the 7 fell late, but it fell on him. So he's getting a little bit of mix on him, too.
Stu moved left. Softened up his speed.
Dantes just carried Brooklyn there. I haven't seen many Brooklyn hits go this weekend so far.
No, this isn't one of those patterns where if you miss left, you go Brooklyn. If you miss left, you live a split.
Yep. Yep.
Because there's so much oil, it doesn't keep hooking.
Yep. Here's Stu again on lane 18. See what he softened up on the speed again, and it goes right through the nose. 3, 6, 9, 10. for me, Mike, the combination of the amount of oil that's on the lane and the HPL surface is kind of interesting here. The way people were describing it to me yesterday with the surface that people are putting on bowling balls, the heads go away pretty quick. I wonder if Rick, we're in game 3 right now. I wonder if Rick's got games 2 scores that I need to put in the folder for you.
Well, I'm on his email list too.
Okay.
So I can get him either way.
Okay, good.
So we'll actually pop him up right now.
All right, good.
Eddie Joe Torres leads at 441. Gabe Alvarez at 424 is second. Jacob Gill third at 378. You see Barnes there with his 16 pins of handicap because he's 55 or older. Is at 374, followed by Bostic at 363. Scott Wiley at 346, and then Dallas Burke is seventh at 345, followed by Martinez, Peccaccini, Howard, Stu Williams, Young, Archuleta, Salazar, Romero, and Lyons.
So Scott Wiley came over to me, and he said he would love to see what game 2 average is from the last 2 years on all the squads, because he thinks that at the beginning there is a shot, especially since they get to practice on it right away on the pair that they're on. But he thinks the game 2 average might be 170, and I think that's pretty high. If you think about it, because there's some pretty low scores in this thing.
Nice cover there.
Jacob Gill. So they run winner spots out here quite often. I think
Sunday events, I believe.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike and see, what the entry fees are or how they do it. But Jacob came in here with 5 of them. He won 5 times to win, spots into this tournament. Chris is smiling on that one.
Sure is. We're going to get another look at it after Dallas goes here. Nice one. Watch the 10 pin. And boom.
Lane Talk looks nice at the top here. This nice and clear.
Yeah, we appreciate our friends over at Lane Talk providing the scoring, and to Brunswick Sync Scoring interacting with it. Shout out to Rick Barbera and those that made that possible, along with Mike Fagan. It always adds a nice touch to our broadcasts. Well, Barnes can blame us.
Yes, he can.
I mean, he did strike on the first shot when we came over here. We'll bump a little right here. Stu is getting a little fried here.
Yes, he is.
I think he was mic'd up, this squad. And I think he just took the mic off.
It's probably a good thing.
Now he's picking up the mic, and I think he's going to return it to Fagan. One thing that Mike has been doing here is he's got a social media crew, and he's trying to get as much coverage out there for his bowling center, and having a big event like this is really a big deal. He's been asking players to get mic'd up, and Stu had enough, so he He went ahead and tossed that mic. And I know what Stu's thinking. Why would you want to show me on the internet bowling this bad? But the thing with Stu is he's so good, he'll make surface adjustments, think about what he did, come back, bowl another squad, and we might see him on Sunday afternoon about 3 in the afternoon winning this whole thing. Who knows?
So you think he threw the mic at Mike?
I think he did. I think Stu went up and gave him the mic and said, "I'm not doing this anymore."
Okay, whatever you think, brother. You're the boss.
Yeah. That's what I think happened. Now that the mic is off, Stu's probably going to strike out. Nope.
I was going to say that looked pretty good off of Dantes' hand there. He's not got a bad game going this game.
No, and Eddie Joe, even though he's not going to bowl 200, a double here is massive.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to be that squad leader.
That hurts a lot.
It does.
That hurts a lot.
Gabe Alvarez, right now second on the squad at 424. He can still bowl 234. And there you go, Gabe.
That's great.
Yeah, Gabe bowled games of 247, 177. Gabe got it going on here quite a bit. Gabe's gonna take over the lead on the squad. Yeah, everybody, Beef and Barnsey next week. They'll be talking about this tournament. There's no question. And right now, if they were talking about the tournament, I can only imagine what they would be saying. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but right now, I think if you had their mindset of if we had to eavesdrop on what they would be saying right now in the heat of the moment, there's such thing as having a pattern that's hard, and there's a such thing as having a pattern that's just stupid.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, Austin Grammer's, probably playing golf all over the city and getting the key to the city and all that kind of stuff for bowling every game over 200 yesterday. I mean, the first squad, you never know how extraordinary a score can be. But, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to bowl 200 all 6 games of qualifying. I don't see that happening. Gabe Alvarez with 218. Nice game, buddy. Alvarez, man. He's bowling great.
It's funny when you talked about Austin, too. I mean, it wasn't anything flashy.
No.
All the way across 70 over for the block, and I don't know that did he have 220?
No,
he
didn't.
So.
I think it was 203 to 216 was the range.
Yeah.
I've never seen a more consistent block ever in the history of live streaming.
Yep.
All right, Archuleta with the split. We'll bounce here. We'll move left. Here's Barnes stepping up in the 10th frame here on his fill.
That's a nice game for Chris.
Yeah, going to be in the 220s. How about actually 219? Add 8 pins a handicap, though. Gets him to 227.
A unique, I don't know if it's not a feature, but a unique occurrence here is that when the way that Rick is doing it, at the end of a game, the 8 pins of handicap automatically gets added on. So he gets the 8 pins before he ever throws the first ball of this game. So right now the total that you're seeing up there is that. And then when he moves to the next pair, he'll have 585 before he starts the game. So we've got 4 ladies on the next squad that are taking
nice.
advantage of the 8 pins of handicap each time. We don't always know before the squad starts what seniors we have. We have to kind of check that out whenever they check in at the table and make sure that they've got, what their age is, and could change that. But that's twice that I've seen Jacob Bach up there on the approach. Something's wrong with his grip there. I'd say his thumb didn't feel right, but he was a two-hander, so that doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Maybe his thumb still didn't feel right. I don't know.
All right, we're going to move into game number 4 now. Moving right along. Eddie Joe Torres comes in light. Haven't seen him really coming in too light. It's either high or a strike so far here today. So what do we think here? This is typically the time in an event where you take a guy like Stu Williams, where all of a sudden he just bowls 230. You know?
Well, something's going to happen. Something's going to have to happen for him to get rid of that reaction that's leaving the 2-8 with friends.
Yeah. Good shot by Barney there.
And I wonder, like you said earlier, I wonder if that's going to have to be a surface change in between squads, because I don't think he likes any of the surfaces that he's chosen so far. The way the balls are reacted in the middle part of the lane.
Trying to shape it. Okay.
Yeah.
Really soft, big hand. Just trying to putt it up the ramp. We got Dantes Young, a.k.a. Wayne Gretzky. Now,
Wow.
that's a terrible break, but
Yep.
but here's the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting on a jersey of a person named the Great One. Because if you come into this tournament and if you don't have the mindset that you're great, you're probably not going to bowl very good. So I love the fact that he's got the Great One jersey on. And
You see Eddie Joe having the same same hit on the other lane now.
Yep. Highlight. Barnes's ball checked immediately. That's why it went high.
Stu with the slow roller again and gets the strike this time. So maybe he's got a strategy. I don't know, Mike. You might have called 230 there for Stu. Eddie Joe makes the adjustment there and comes in high flush on that one. Let's see if Stu's new strategy here is going to make the big difference on the right lane here on 19 and 20. That one got out quickly. Yeah, that'll happen, and especially if you miss that area in the between the arrows and down lane bump where you got to get the ball to start changing direction. It goes forever. Chris leaves a weak 10 there, but he got the ball into the pocket. Stu flagged a head pin on his third effort there on lane 20 and went right, but the ball never even considered hooking.
The critical minds of bowling, whenever you have them in the events, they love to tell you what they think about things, you know.
Okay.
So Chris had an interesting comment and thought, you know, just discussing what this is, and what I love about lane play and oil patterns is when you see the picture, you know, they still give me the same feedback, whether they're bowling good or bad, guys like Barnes.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, if you look at this graph, and I'm going to bring it up again. Barnes was making an interesting comment here. Let's got to get on the right video capture here. We're on number 4 here. Okay. Wait for Gretzky to bowl. And that's a great one. Okay. So you talk about head oil. Okay, so we talked about Barnes on the left lane came in high on the last shot over there. I said it just checked early immediately.
Yeah.
Well, it checked early immediately because he threw it into the lane. Now that one there, he makes an adjustment so it doesn't hook early, and then he leaves a 2-pin combo here. So one of the comments he was making to me is when you look at the load data here on this chart, everybody, and I know this is really deep into the weeds for the nerds out there, is if you notice on the reverse loads, the machine stops applying oil to the brush at 15 feet. That's on load data 5. Okay? There is no oil being applied to the brush in load 6 or 7. You see the loads is 0. And all that is whatever's left on the brush is being just pushed back to the foul line from 15 feet forward. And Barnes basically says that because of no oil being applied to the brush, the first 15 feet of the lane wants to hook more than a pattern that would have oil there, because there's no oil on that reverse to build up the fronts. There's no additional oil being applied whatsoever from 15 feet forward, and that's kind of unique. You know, on a house pattern, it typically stops oiling at like 6 or 7 feet back to the foul line. That's normal. You're looking at an additional 8 feet of no oil being applied, and that's one of the reasons why Barnes thinks this pattern is just so hard. You've got actually more oil down lane than the front part of the lane, and it's hard to get your ball to corner, and that's why the scores are so low here this weekend.
Yeah. And hard to control the pocket too. And then add in the fact that there is no urethane in the tournament.
No urethane, correct. So yeah. You got to repeat, no question. Barnes has had a couple of pocket hits where he's left a 7-10. He left a pocket 4-10 earlier. That one there, he kind of got in the way a little bit, but it got there. A little light mixer. I just heard doggy bandanas. I'm kind of curious what the standings might look like. Boom. Gabe Alvarez, 642. Chris Barnes is at 601 with his handicap. You got Eddie Joe Torres in third at 585.
Look at that, what that third game did to him.
I know it.
Good grief.
Charles Bostic, 568. Jacob Gill at 547.
Charles needs a good block this time.
Yeah. I mean, right now, with 3 games in, I'm actually liking the top 4 spots and making the cut.
Yeah.
Based off of what we've seen through 2 squads yesterday, that those pacing scores right now are well within the idea of making the cut. Yesterday we were talking a little bit. I think minus 78 was the number I came up with. A 187 average to make the cut was my prediction. So, yeah, let me just double check that. 187 times 6 is 1122. So, yeah, minus 78 is my prediction for a cut number. Stu gets back in the strike pocket there. He's got himself a double. How about that, Stu? What did I say when the game started, Dennis? I think
Said
I
he was going to shoot 230.
I did. Now, I don't know if he's going to get to 230, but it looks like he's got a clue now.
So the first one was a light mixer. You said he slowed it down and it made it back to the pocket.
Tried to shape it a little.
The second one was pretty high flush on the other lane.
Yep.
And then I don't know if he changed something or if he just didn't execute the next 2 frames, but he missed the head pin right both times.
Yep.
And left basically the same spare. I think it was. They won 2-4. So, and then he chops that on in frame number 4, and now he's back on the strike wagon again.
And you got Barnes over here. The left lane's just hooking a lot more than the right lane, and he hasn't been able to get it to see it properly. But the crazy thing is here, you always got a chance to make splits here with the boost pin setters. It is a sanctioned pin setter. That left lane, I know it wasn't thrown perfectly, but it just, that left lane's hooking a lot more than the right lane.
Yeah.
And it's in the front of the lane is where it's hooking.
And that's basically an impossible adjustment.
Yeah, because you want to try to float it through it, but then if you do that, it never picks up.
It never picks up. Yeah.
Just a slight miss there by Stu to leave the 2-8. 2-8's very hard spare this weekend as well. Barnes. See, that's going to lay there and be real nice. Oh, and then it's not nice to him, and then the 9 falls. Okay. I thought off his hand that looked really good.
I agree with you. Yep.
You know, you look at a shot like that with the strings, and I know some people might say, oh, well, that 9 fallen, he should have left a 4-9. But earlier, because of a string pin setter, he left a pocket 4-10 that I don't think you would have seen on free fall. So that's just a perfect example of how things kind of even out. He shouldn't have left a split on the 4-10, and then there he probably should have left a split on the 4-9. So it's all relative to the type of pin setter that we have here. I'm leaving for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right, that's good. And Jacob is searching big time on that pair. He split, and going through the nose, and then all of a sudden missing the head pin. But he's going to try it again, I'm sure, with the extra spots that he's got. I don't know how much you can learn. I'm not sure you can learn. These lanes, it seems like the squads, they break down differently each time that we're doing it. And again, we are, like many of the other sport shot tournaments that there are in the country, each time that we recondition these lanes, strip them in oil, and the pattern gets, they say, more true, more intense, maybe. I don't know. We're running squads at 8 o'clock and 1 o'clock each of the days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I know they had a league in here last night, so in between everything else, they would have stripped and put the league pattern down on the low end. I'm not sure about the high end, what they did last night, but the low end I know got the league pattern on it. Mike said something earlier about Scott Wiley. When he throws it good, it looks really, really good.
I left for a second because I know there's been a lot of eyeballs on this event this weekend, just in general. With the 8 pins of handicap, the difficult pattern, and the change to strings for this year. And one thing that I didn't know about string pin setters, and I'm trying to educate our audience here a little bit this weekend as we're all kind of getting a little bit more familiar with this type of bowling. The pin setters have 2 different settings with the string lengths. I don't know if you were aware of that, Dennis. You probably were.
Absolutely, I am.
Yeah, and I wasn't coming into this event.
Okay.
I didn't know.
All right.
So there's a recreational play length of the strings, which I believe is like 22 inches or something. That part, I may be off on the distance of the travel of the string, but that's for recreational play, and that's where you see a lot more goofy hits. These pin setters for the sanctioning, which was required by USBC, it's a shorter distance.
No, it's a longer distance. It's 54.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's 54 inches.
Okay.
I want you to understand, If the string is shorter, the pin could be more, it could be more like on a helicopter type of a rotation right
Oh,
back
okay.
there. And
Okay, I got
and
you.
the pins could
Okay.
swing around and actually, just because they're on a string, take out other things.
So the got it.
You see what I'm saying? But the longer, the more slack there is in the string.
It gives it plays more like a traditional.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's the longer length. That's right. I had
Yeah.
it backwards.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I didn't know that there were two different settings. So if you bowl on strings recreationally, they're going to fall differently than if you're bowling on them in competition setting.
And I want you to imagine also that the shorter the string, the less chance there is for there to be a tangle. And so when the intention of the installation of strings across for a center that doesn't have a full-time mechanic or somebody up, a pin chaser in the back or whatever, the less lane calls are going to be whenever the pins don't get tangled up and you don't have to go back and do anything.
Got it.
But in order for us to certify them and find out that the scoring pace was very similar to free fall, there had to be a longer.
It's longer. Got it.
A longer
Thank you.
string length to do that. Yeah.
So Eddie Joe Torres, possible 145 here. Needs every penny he can get. Started out bowling great, but
4 and 4 in that last frame. Too.
yeah, that's the hard 8. I think
Yeah.
they call that.
Yeah.
Barnes looking to get in the 190s. Just never could get that left lane to work out for him, but there's a break.
All right, Mike, I think we had a couple of sign-ups that I missed a few minutes ago, so I'm going to head back over there. We're going into Game 5 of this morning, and then we'll have a decent break in between this squad, and our 1 o'clock squad. It looked like there were about 35 to 40 entries on the Pro-Am for tonight, so that's going to take up part of the house. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what Chris does here, see if he can turn this into a 190 and stay like minus 20 for the.
And then he 4-9.
Of
right
course
behind
he
it.
does.
All right, Dennis. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
It's Dennis Hacker, our tournament director, coming by and spending a little bit of time with us here in the booth. Past champions of this event in 2025 was Dallas Leong. Francois Lavoie won the 2 years prior to that. Cortez Schenk, Dylan Taylor, Dwayne Mellinger, Chris Barnes, Vernon Peterson, Eric Hatchett. That goes back to 2016. 2015 was Jacob Buttriff. This event's been going on for 22 years. This is the 22nd edition of the New Mexico Open that was founded and started by Steve Mackey, and continues on with the tradition of the tournament under proprietor Mike Fagan's helm here. Glad we still have the event going on. You know, each one of these events I go out and stream on the road, each one is unique and different. Formats, oil patterns, pace of play, bowlers. That's what makes every one of these a bit unique. Get to see quite a bit of variety. I said Stu might bowl 230 this game. I was a little off on that, but it is a step in the right direction. There's Beef and Barnesy cutting it up a little bit here. So as you can see, no 200 games here across these 4 lanes. Over here, what do we have? We got Eugene Martinez can still bowl 207. Scott Wiley had 192. Nico Pacini had 169. Andrew Romero 143. What we have down here on the end pair, 157 for Gabe Alvarez, Raymond Archuleta 129 and 138 for Luke Salazar. Go back over here, see if we can get our 200 game. There it is. Boom. 207. Eugene Martinez. And Stu Williams with a respectable game of 188. Get ready to move into game number 5. So we've got Wiley, Baccaccini, Barnes, Gill, and Burke here on our main for game number 4. What's that? 330. 313. Again, just a reminder, if you want to know when we'll be on with more bowling, we'll be back at 1 o'clock today for D squad qualifying. And then we'll be back again tomorrow at 8 and 1 again. Finals will start on Sunday, 8 a.m. Nice shot there by Barnes. I'm going to go next door, take a peek, showcase some of the other players in the field. Got Ryan Howard, Charles Bostic, Tyler Lyons starting with 4 in a row, Eugene Martinez and Andrew Romero. Let's see what Tyler Lyons is doing here. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Eddie Joe Torres just came up to the booth after not bowling quite as good and came up and said, "Thank you for all you do for bowling," and shook my hand. So that just kind of speaks to the type of players we have in this field and the type of people bowlers are. How about Tyler Lyons now, front 5? He's got something special going on there. As soon as Tyler throws his shot, we will take a look at the standings after 4 games. Those are in now. Boom. Front 6. All right, Gabe Alvarez, 799. 247, 177, 218, 157. Charles Bostic, second at 793. You got Barnes there at 786 with his 32 pins a handicap. Again, you get 8 pins if you're over 55, 55 or older, or a female. Eugene Martinez at 747. Eddie Joe Torrance, after starting out 206, 235, has really struggled the last 2 games. and is at 719. Scott Wiley, 6th at 718. Then you got Gill, Burke, Howard, Baccaccini, Young, Stu Williams, Salazar, Archuleta, Lyons, and Romero. Go back over and check out Andrew Romero. There you go, Andrew. Nice double, buddy. Tyler Lyons is in 15th right now. 128, 136, 140, 170, and comes back with the front 6. Front 7. Barnes, 2 8-10s. See Wiley off to your right there. 2 8-10s. Bostic 4 pins. I want my boy Andrew Romero here to get a triple. Feed it in there. Ah. 210. Hook. Yes. Tyler Lyons, front 8. We haven't seen anything like this in 2 days. Front 8 for Tyler Lyons. Man. Tyler's currently 15th. His high game today is 148. Incredible. Hey, Rob, do you guys have a AA battery by chance? I just need one. All right, here's Lions looking for the front 9. Just missed a little bit to the right, leaves the 1, the 1-2-8. Good run there for Tyler Lyons. Thank you, sir. I'm going to go down with the wireless mic, and after this game is over, I got to ask Tyler Lyons what happened this game. I don't know if it was a ball change, a zone change, but something happened. Ooh, tried to cut the 4 into the 9. Does Bostic. Let's see if Lions can bowl 265. I believe that would be high game of the tournament. I see your question here in the chat regarding the Randy Peterson podcast. Nice shot, Andrew. So Randy has always kind of wanted to do a podcast, and I would like to do one as well. I just don't have the time to do it. So Randy and I were working pretty closely together, and we wanted to give it a try. And, you know, with the amount of time commitment for that, both of us just realized we couldn't commit to it at this time. It was fun to do once, but, yeah, we just couldn't commit to it. I would love to be able to do a bowling show someday, but it just has to – it doesn't pay the bills, so to speak. It would be nice to do it. But there'd have to be a way that it'd have to be funded to where I would have to stop doing something else that I do that helps pay the bills. You got to have a nice mix, a person like myself. You got to have a mix of things that you do that you do for free, and then you've got stuff that you do for less than minimum wage, and then you have work that you do that pays a good wage. And then you have work that you do that pays above. And my problem is I tend to do too much of the stuff on the lower end than the higher end. And doing a podcast would be way down in the low end. So, folks, I'm going to go down. I'm going to talk to Tyler Lyons real quick. I want to see what adjustments he made here for this particular game and how he was able to bowl his highest game of the tournament by 96 pins. Okay, just want to make sure this thing's on. I'm going wireless here. All right, folks, I was going to go talk to him, but he was busy down there, and I didn't want to disturb him during bowling, but I'm going to try to talk to him. I know that he's throwing a tank carbide bowling ball. I was able to confirm that, which is not urethane. So perfectly okay there. We also had a couple people that were questioning that here in the building, but all good there. Rolling into Game 6, need to move my graphic over. Glad you're with us here on Inside Bowling. You're watching the 2026 New Mexico Open. And my name is Mike Flanagan. And I've got one message for everybody.
Mike Flanagan loves bowling.
Yeah, that's right. So Lions goes 8 spare. Start the game. Hello.
So what are we supposed to be doing out here? What are we missing?
I mean, look, my thought is, but I'm not bowling, and I don't know the topography and all that stuff.
Just go by all that. Get back out to where we were earlier.
Go right with a ball that just very rolly, and
How far are you talking?
and go head pin hunting, like 5.
3. There's two, okay, 2, 3. Well, the problem was I got some of the pairs.
Yeah,
We had all the two
and when you try to shape it, every once in a while you get on a lane that just hooks instantly, and then once you try to get it to go past it, then you 2-pin or worse. You just got to go up it.
What's the projected cut? What's the slam projected?
Minus 80, 187 average, so 187 average. Minus 78.
Is there a buy in this or no?
There's buys, top 8. Yeah.
What's that going to
I don't know that yet. Barnes just came up and asked me, where should he be playing? I told him you gotta move to the right. Told him you gotta play up it. I mean, that's what the pattern tells you. And anytime you try to think you can shape it at all, it's just not good. We've seen some bowlers put it together for a couple games here and there, but just consistently across the block, other than what Austin did yesterday. I mean, Austin Grammer was King Kong yesterday. He put on a clinic. Every game over 200. It's just quite a feat. I'm going to angle that camera a little bit differently here. Okay, turn the camera a little bit. 23 and 4 might be in play a little bit later, but Barnes left the 2-8. So as far as I'm concerned, he hit the 1-3. I know it was a little light, but hit the 1-3. and threw it out 1-2, and the ball never hooked. And that's what I was talking about with topography a little bit too. The ball's supposed to hook off of that into the 2-8 and completely misses it. I mean, Chris Barnes is one of the greatest players in the world. I know he's 55 years old, and he's not, the player that he was in his prime, but I mean, he's still an incredible bowler, and to whiff the 2-8, I mean, that's the lane pattern talking. That is, in a nutshell, just how much of a challenge this pattern is for all these players. Let's watch Jacob Gill. He's bowling every squad. We've been talking about it. He bowled a bunch of win-a-spot tournaments here and won 5 of them. That's pretty good. Two 4-10 for Barnes on that one. Comes in light again. Move back over to here. Eugene Martinez, Andrew Romero, Scott Wiley, Nico Baccaccini. Continue taking a look at just moving around the horn, seeing what's happening out there on the lanes. Nico is a youth bowler competing for $5,000 in guaranteed youth scholarships here this week. Shout out to him. Get some experience out here. Whiffing the 7. Power Lions, who just came off the front 8. Bull 240, spare. Now leaves the 4-6, I believe it was. Chris Barnes actually just made the 2-8-10, by the way. Luke Salazar, spare triple. Let's see what we got here. Yep, got the scores coming in. Let's take a look at those. And let's slide those in. Gabe Alvarez, currently your leader of the squad. 991 is total. Charles Bostic had 963. Chris Barnes is at 963 with his 40 pins of handicap. You got Eddie Joe Torres at 924. Eugene Martinez at 904. Then you got Scott Wiley at 895. Followed by Gill, Burke, Lyons, Howard, Baccaccini, Salazar, Young, Stu Williams, Raymond Archuleta, and Andrew Romero. Barnes moving left towards the track. And the problem is if you feed it a little to the right, it just wants to hang. And if you go a little bit left, that's what you leave right there. It's like you're bowling in a phone booth. Nice cover there by Jacob Gill. That split's being made everywhere here. Take a look at that one again. Just sliding that over. 3 into the 4 and the 7. Takes out the 6. Textbook. Meanwhile, Dallas Burke. There you go, Dallas. Representing Jeff's Pro Shop. Luke Salazar, spare 4-bagger. Look at our scores there. Salazar in 12th. Remember, the high on the squad automatically goes into the finals. Right now it's Gabe Alvarez. Charles Bostic right there as well. Fighting it out for the squad leader. Bostic at 963, Alvarez at 991 coming into this game. Barnes also at 963. Alvarez and Bostic. Alvarez strikes, Bostic to answer. Crosses over for a huge Brooklyn there. Barnes 4-9's playing the middle of the lane. Flat 10, and then he moved a half board and 4-9. Says that's too much on a half 10. Nice shot there by Ryan. All right. Alvarez and Bostic, as I mentioned, are the ones that are trying to figure out who's going to get the squad lead here. Alvarez has a 28-pin lead over Bostic. Comes in high for a split, so the door is open for Bostic right here. 28-pin lead on the squad right now. Need to make sure Eddie Joe Torres isn't bowling a monster game at the moment. Nope. Big shot here for Bostic coming off the Brooklyn. See if he can parlay it. Ooh, almost a 410. Nice swash out conversion there by Luke. He can still be in the 240s. Luke has not bowled a game over 184 here today and has 3 games, 141 or under. So he's not going to be a factor in this squad. Bostic and Alvarez. Bowling score is good enough here, in my opinion, that will be cut worthy, finals worthy. 991, 963. Barnes is also at 963, but really has not had much ball reaction whatsoever. He did make that 4-9, by the way. We're going to go Barnes and then back to Alvarez quickly. Barnes, middle of the lane, that's left. And Alvarez strikes. So Gabe Alvarez can strike out for 204. Bostic 238. Bostic can still run him down. Must strike on this ball. Well, not necessarily. Doesn't have to strike on this ball and can still leave. Leaves a solid 9. What a shot by Bostic. Looking to be who's high on the squad. Alvarez. Yes, sir. Gabe's in the 2-0s. So, again, 28 pin difference. Bostic can't bowl 232. So, as long as Gabe Alvarez gets, I believe, 6 pins on this ball, Gabe Alvarez is going to be your squad leader. And Tyler Lyons threw an 8-bagger the last game and has found a way to throw a 5-bagger this game. He has found something late in the block. So congrats to Gabe Alvarez, your leader today. Charles Bostic, a 9-pin away from making it interesting here in the 10th frame. But still, like I said, I think a good enough score that's gonna punch his ticket into the finals. Mike Flanagan joins me. What's up, bud?
Good afternoon. Oh, good morning still, actually.
Yeah, just
how you
still
doing?
morning. I'm good.
I've been up a while. It feels like afternoon.
Yeah, Alvarez shuts the door on Bostic here to have the overall squad lead.
Yeah, Charles throwing it good, man. He's, got a couple squads under his belt now. He's starting to see the picture a little bit, and I think that score is well good enough to be making the finals for sure.
Yeah, and Tyler Lyons had a front 8 the game before, and now this game was able to find a 5-bagger, a couple of 200 games to finish out for Lyons. He's definitely going to be in re-entry situation here to where he could be a favorite in upcoming squads.
Absolutely. This pattern can really deceive your eye, but if you start getting locked in and you see the picture, Tyler's ball, it seems like, is probably hooking in the first 15 feet of the lane and not doing too much down lane, but that's why it's controllable, and that's why he's able to kind of, he's not playing a lot of down lane reaction right now, and because the down lane is super inconsistent.
Barnes came over and talked to me before this game and just said, "Hey, what are you seeing out there? And what do you think is the best look?" And I still think if you can play out, playing out and using the built-in angle and just kind of taking the lane out of play as much as possible is the play. And Barnes came over here and left a 2-8 on the right lane. and then 2-8-10 on the left lane, moved back inside. It could not get anything consistent going. Now he just moved back to the right in 7-10s.
Yeah, he's much closer now.
I think that's the right zone, but I think he needs more surface.
Probably a little more surface.
Needs
I
it
think
to start up and just lay off.
Exactly. I think he needs to see the ball roll end over end more. Even that shot still had a lot of shape to it. Tyler has been able to throw a 7 or 8 bagger last game, a 5 bagger this game. You know, I know he struggled the first few games, but he's starting to see the picture. And, you know, if he can avoid those big errors, you know, I mean, that's really the play. And it's a different shape than 99.9% of bowling today.
Yeah.
But if you allow your eye to see it, and you know, that's where I think the consistency pair to pair comes in as well. If you're trying to make the ball hook at 45 feet and crack off it like you see in your league, you're just going to get yourself in trouble, because it's not going to do the same thing every time. But if you can get the ball to hook early and lay off and really control the back end, yeah, I mean, are you going to leave some goofy stuff? You might leave some flat 10s or even some 5-7s or something, but you know, you can get it stuffed in there kind of like that. That's really where I think that was closer, but it was just probably a little bit too
I think at his
too far
front
left.
his front target was too far left.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
a little left of his target, most likely.
Exactly. Yep. That's what makes it so hard is you want to try to make it hook, which then you got all these things going on, and then you miss your target, and then maybe you throw one a little slow trying to make it hook, and then the next one you ramp up a little bit, but you hit your target, and then it hydroplanes, leaves a 2-pin combo. I mean, it's just that's what makes it so great, and yet so hard at the same time.
Yeah, you know, we're kind of running out of time here, so I'll tell my Chris Barnes story later. But I mean, you know, I first met Chris for the first time. It was a funny story. In 1997, I qualified for Team USA National Finals, and I think he was already a Team USA member, competing in team trials there. Before it was an open entry tournament, I had to qualify locally and then through the state, etc. And I had a nice little run, but I think one game I had about 120, and bowled Chris in the match play the next game. Start off with a strike, and he said, "Well, you beat your last game already." So that's how I got introduced to Chris Barnes when I was a teenager. But you know, I think back then, my point was, back in the 90s, I mean, growing up, I was playing fallback shots almost more than I was playing shapes. Mm-hmm. Growing up on what we grew up on, just horrible surface and no back end and long oil and stripping, you know, twice a week, you know, versus today's game, you know, everything gets stripped every squad pretty much, every league session. So, I mean, you know, I didn't put that out because it's nostalgic to me, but I mean, it does remind me of how bowling was 30 years ago, where there was no shape to create. And if you tried to create it, you were just going to get yourself in trouble. So try to get your hand as far up the back of it as you can. And like you said, play the shape that the lane allows you to, which is, you know, get to the right, try to create some natural angle, and just let the ball, you know, and just try to hit the 1-2, 1-3.
Yep. Jacob Gill trying to throw a double here in the 10th, can get to 180. He can get to 1,060. And when you throw it like that, it looks so easy.
And well, exactly. And I think that's where what he just did obviously looks great, right? It's not going to be consistent across the house. And that's really where the rub is, because you throw a few shots like that and your eyes get wide and you say, whoa, all right, I got this now. And you go to the next pair or even the little transition and it just misses the spot. You know, at the end of the day, there's not really much shape out there. So trying to play shape is kind of forcing it.
Austin Grammer played a similar part of the lane that we're seeing Jacob play right now yesterday. and he was able to figure out a way to bowl across the bowling center and bowl 200 games every time, and that looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you can find some pairs, no doubt about it. You just have to be able to mentally weather the storm. You know, if you're going to bowl 240, there might be a 140 waiting for you. So, you know, you just got to be able to bounce back.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our squad, everybody. Thanks for being here. 2026 New Mexico Open C Squad qualifying in the books. So on behalf of our entire tournament team, Rick Barbera, Dennis Hacker, Mike Fagan, who's sitting next to me. My name is Mike Flanagan. We also want to give a shout out to Tenpins More entire staff, Anthony Albrecht, the general manager, Rob Elog, our director of operations, and of course all the players for out there bowling on the lanes. We'll be back at 1 o'clock here Mountain Time for D Squad qualifying. We invite you to join us then. We can't wait to see you. One more time, I do want to thank Brunswick, Shamrock Foods, Visit Rio Rancho, Kegel, and Tenpins More for their continued support of this great event. We'll see you today at 1 o'clock.